Good morning, YouTube. It is 10 a.m. in the great state of Texas, and the marathon of projects continues. And also, it is almost Halloween, and I thought this was a complete accident. So, extra fine lime glitter. So, this is going to be this year's Halloween project, only because this is the most Halloween thing I've made accidentally during the marathon build. So, I did 2.5 weeks of making bowl projects, trying to get everything set up before I had to leave for a work thing. So this is just East Coast resin and this glitter, and we're gonna make a small little, I wouldn't even call this a pot, I'd call this more of a cup, but it looks really cool. And green glitter, slimery green color kind of go together, so I would say, hey, let's post this closer to Halloween. So this is going to be this year's Halloween project. So got everything mixed up here. You can see this really cool color. 4.5 hours left in the pressure pot. Took that bad boy out, and really cool color. We could have done this a little bit larger, however, given the vessel that we put it in, this is probably the best ideal size for that particular cup. So gonna get this attached to some pine board, and then we're gonna put this on the lathe, and we're gonna make a little bit of a cup out of it. So hope everybody's having a good Halloween. Like I said, this is part of the marathon of projects. I'm gone for a work thing for like up to 6 to 9 months. So I just wanted to have enough stuff that we could keep growing the channel even when I'm gone. So I finished this back in March. You guys are watching this in October, obviously the Sunday prior to Halloween. So that's what this project's all about this week. So if you hear my cat in the background, by the way, the cat's losing its mind. I'm doing the commentary at like 4 o'clock in the morning, so the cat's going a little crazy bonkers. So that's what that strange noise in the background is. So got everything glued up. Don't be stingy with your hot glue. I say that in pretty much every project that I do. Getting that attached, giving it a good spin. Just be like, hey, it spins. Because sometimes I'll put the damn lathe on and then forget that it's not engaged, and then the belt will go make this weird noise. So make sure it's always spinning and that your lathe is engaged. There's a little knob on the back that'll do that if you have this Nova MIDI lathe, by the way. So here we go, getting that superficial layer off. Nice cylindrical shape already. We don't have to worry about divots and things like we do in some of the Tupperware projects, but this one went relatively smooth from what I can remember. Getting that superficial layer off like we usually will do, just making sure that we got enough material left over to make something out of it. And like I said, by the thumbnail, it's more of a cup than a bowl or a pot, but I really love the color. This also could have been a St. Patrick's Day project, but obviously the work thing was really short notice, so we didn't have an opportunity to do a true St. Patrick's Day project either this year. But this isn't even a true Halloween project either, but hopefully next year we'll have the opportunity to do that. So once we got the superficial layer on there taken off, now we're just coming back with the round carbide tool, getting really good small little strokes, nothing too aggressive. You don't want to be too aggressive when you're just making that nice cylindrical shape there. Putting the tool on top of the actual bullets, the blank itself, just to make sure everything's nice and even. So removing the tailstock, going ahead, and now we're just taking that shavings off, getting a little bit by layer, making sure everything's really good, because you want to try to save as much as material as you can. And this part went relatively easy. Now we're gonna start making a mortise here in just a second, and here we go. So make sure that everything is stabilized. Obviously I wanted to put a little bit more height on the banjo, coming in there with our round carbide tool, getting a nice divot, and then we're just going to go ahead and start using our square carbide tool to start to get the size of the mortise that we want to. This part went relatively well. Actually, throughout the marathon, we didn't have a lot of issues. We had a couple of projects that kind of got messed up, but I believe this one went relatively smooth, and the sanding was actually really surprising on this one, but we'll get to that in just a second. So sizing up the mortise here, just trying to take as much material off as we need to. Now we just got this bad boy taken off the lathe. Now we're going to take the faceplate off, and then you'll get to see what's remaining. So here it is, small little cup comparatively to the size of my hand. It's not very large, but I'm okay with that. So taking that piece of pine board off, obviously the pine board is huge as compared to the rest of the blank itself. So this part took no time at all. This is actually a fun part of the project that I like to do a lot of the time, because the pine board is really soft. So if you're new into woodworking, I would recommend going to Lowe's, getting a piece of pine, and just practicing on that. I think that's a really good way to start practicing because it's so soft. It takes no effort at all, no vibrations on the chisels. Really good stuff to work with if you're just starting out. So, and I still do pine projects. I'm like 3-4 years into woodworking, and I still use pine. I think it's a good material to work with. Some people poo-poo on it, but hey, when this channel gets monetized and I have billions of views, hey, maybe then I'll start buying some more exotic stuff. But until then, use pine wood. So getting everything just nice and flush, getting that superficial glue off, and now we start the actual gouging portion. And I can't say enough, this part went really, really easy. And you can see how oblong it is, so it's a little bit longer cylindrical shape. So sometimes that can be an issue if you're getting a lot of chatter on the chisels when you start the gouging portion. It might vibrate off, but this part went really smooth, really easy, no problems whatsoever. Just working our way from the outside in, making every sure, just taking our time. If you go back and watch some of my older projects that I did when I first started wood turning, I used to be super aggressive with the chisels, get angry, and start stabbing at the actual blank itself. Don't do that. Take your time, really get in there, use real sharp chisels. That's what I always do. Make sure your stuff is all set up, because if you get in there and you get a little too aggressive, that stuff will definitely suck when it flies off the lathe and hits you in the face. So just be real careful out there. But overall, gouging portion went really, really smooth. Not a whole lot of problems that I can remember. Now we're just coming back and forth, just trying to get to a nice depth, switching out between the round and the actual bowl gouge itself. Got two different sizes of round carbide tools, a large and a medium sized one, which went relatively easy. And now we're just coming back with the I believe this is the square carbide tool, hitting the side of the wall there, just trying to get a nice thin lip on the bowl before we actually start the sanding process. And then once we got the lip of the bowl to the size that we want, now we can actually come back, do some of that finer work, and make everything nice, even, and flush here. And this just takes a little bit. You're getting more of my hand in this shot than you are actually the blank. But come back, take the glove off, get a feel for where we're at. Did this a couple of different times, and that's super important when you're doing these kinds of projects, because you don't want to take off too much material. And it's a little bit harder to feel with the glove on, so if you need to take a feel for where you're at, make sure to take the glove off. You get a little bit better or more accurate depth of where you are with that tactile sensation. Anyway, so coming back and forth, got it to a nice depth. Now we're all finished and done. These are all the shavings from just this one project. And you can see the garage is an absolute mess. We did this marathon for 2.5 weeks, and there's a pile of shavings up to this point. I don't even know which number project this is in this whole marathon of projects, but got everything kind of cleared off the workbench and then added to the pile in the corner. Getting everything nice and sanded down. I hate sanding, by the way. Went from 340 all the way up to 1500, and then we're going to come back and hit it with a micro mesh, doing the wet sanding. This is where you start to see how cool this damn bowl looks, and it does. It looks really cool. Love the glitter. Wasn't too excited initially when we started it, but man, once you did the glitter part, it looks absolutely fabulous. And there, my dumbass lost the lathe, and I'm just grabbing my coffee to calm my ass down. Just keep letting it spin, but coffee makes everything better. So here we are now that we rescued our micro mesh pad, and we finished that. Now we're just going to take that wood wax and just let it pop. Look at that thing, glittery as hell. So hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, this is part of the marathon of projects. You guys are watching this the weekend of Halloween 2022. Finished this back in March. So hope everybody's doing well out there. Love these projects. Like I said, we did 20 plus projects in 2.5 weeks, which is daunting. So don't worry, we will be back once I get back from my work thing, and we're going to do some larger projects and definitely keep growing this channel. But hope everybody's doing well out there. Hope everybody's having a good, or is going to have a good Halloween. And I just went through puberty there with my voice squeaking. Don't forget to subscribe, like, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in the next project. All right, guys. Peace. Happy Halloween. Alright, so project is done. I need a new ring light. This thing is like all wobbly everywhere. Can't get a good adjustment, but bam, look at this little dude. Not too bad for such a small piece of epoxy, a small little blank. That glare, this should have been the St. Patty's Day project. However, you guys are probably watching this in the fall of 2022. I don't know where I'm gonna put these videos. This is part of the marathon. Every video I put out for the rest of the year is part of the damn marathon. So not a whole lot of, actually no issues with this. It barely, there's barely anything here, but I mean, it still looks really, really cool. There you go, you can kind of see that, focus. But overall, really happy with it. I got less than 5 days until I have to go. So getting these done. I mean, we're just a marathon of like bowl turning, as you saw from all the shavings that were, in the garage. There's the bottom of that bad boy. You're probably more interested in this, but overall, really fun little project to do. We are gonna do these projects a lot bigger when I come back. So hope you liked it. Hope you got something out of today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. Love how this looks. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.